All right. Good evening, folks. Welcome to another edition of Football Focus Weekly. I am the pet man, Matt Morrow. Tonight on the show, we're going to lead off with the CMS Best of Last. That is my ranking of the 19 schools in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. 7:45, we'll do the rapid review. We'll review last week's games and scores and get maybe a couple brief thoughts on last week. 8 o'clock, we're going to have Wayne Linneberg. He's the tight end coach and special teams coordinator for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. 8:20, we're going to hit you with the Blitz, our game previews for week 3. Just become a popular segment. We'll talk about that in a little bit. 8:45, we've got our game predictions. 4 games we're predicting this week, big-time games this week. Really excited to get into those. 9 o'clock, we'll have our popular CFI players at the game segment. We got a lot of players to highlight this week. Thank you for your submissions on that. And then, of course, at 9:30, we're going to end it with the slime. Pete talking about people who need to get slimed for whatever crazy transgressions they have done in life. Got a comment already. Jim West, what's up, man? Thank you, Jim West, for coming on. My former compadre in a past life at Carolina Varsity and a great encyclopedia of knowledge of high school football. So that being said, we're going to roll the intro, then we're going to hit you with the CMS Best to Last. Here we go. Wayne King on South Tryon Street is number 1. And I'm going to tell you why. Petman's Fried Chicken Rankings. And we're going to do 4 restaurants. I see Fred is laughing in the background.
My sound off is actually about, I'm going back to the Panther fans. And you know why?
Queen of CFI, sound off.
Been so much disrespect with mighty Coach Phillips, and I'm here to sign off about it.
I can tell you how the Panther season gonna be.
Oh, I've got a rule in life, man. There are a couple rules I live by in life. One rule is never pass by Bojangles without stopping. A second rule of life is get play sauce, it'll save your life. Third rule of life, don't trust white girls. The number 1 most annoying group of people. People who don't put their buggies back in their little buggy aisles at the grocery store.
Where did I agree to get 211 text messages a day about the election? What did I agree to get calls every 7 seconds?
I'm gonna sound off on myself. All my teams stink. Oh my God, we have the caption Cowboy Joe on there now. Good grief. But
Charlotte Football Insider, Football Focus Weekly. All right, welcome. Pet Man here. We're leading off with the CMS Best to Last. I got a couple guys in the background I'm going to bring in on this and get their opinions. The producer, Brandon Black, and then we got our buddy, Coach Otis Powell. We're going to bring them on right here, and I'm going to get their opinions on the CMS Best to Last. Let's straighten the screen out. There we go. All right. How we doing, guys?
Doing all right, Coach. How you doing?
I'm good. Producer Brandon, how are you, sir? And we're already off to a mute.
Hey, it's early, man. If you're gonna fumble, you want to fumble early in the game, get that out of the system. But pretty good, man. Get through the week.
Oh, good deal. All right. So this week's CMS Best to Last, we have, of course, a big number of changes based on last week's games. Number 19, I've still got Garinger. Tough loss to Hickory Ridge this week. 18, we got Harding. 17, West Meck. 16 Rocky River, 15 East Meck, 14 North Meck, 13 Hopewell, 12 South Meck, 11 West Charlotte, and 10 Berry. So in that grouping right there, what really stands out to you team-wise?
Let's see. I mean, a lot of teams that, probably definitely want to get off that side of the list, but but a lot of, doesn't mean there's not talent there, but just, some kinks to fill out. I think Berry, being that Berry and West Charlotte, both have a win. I think that's an appropriate place for them. So
yeah, and Berry kind of sliding down a little bit after last week's loss to Providence, and then West Charlotte moving up because of their win over North Meck. Are some big things. And then, behind Berry and West Charlotte, the rest of those teams do not have a win yet. So I just kind of went off the eye test based on, what I've seen, over the past week or so to kind of rank those guys where they are. And on that side of the list, I think, Berry still obviously has the talent to get back on the right side. West Charlotte trending in the right direction. We were at South Meck Olympic last week, and South Meck has some good talent. They just played, two of the best teams in the SOMEC 7 in Olympic and RGKL, and they were in those games. They just couldn't quite get over the hump, in the second half, especially. And then North Meck, I thought, North Meck actually moved up, a couple spots because they didn't play week 1. And we got some, ideas on them in their game against West Charlotte. Otis, what are your thoughts on the left side of that list, 19 through 10?
I think it's right on point. I like Hopewell a little bit better than South Meck, but other than that, I think 19 through 10 is right on point.
Now, there may be some recency bias with that because we were at the Hopewell Vance game, and Vance just looks amazing. In that game that they won on Saturday. So, I can see where you're coming from on that. I got a comment from our buddy. Mizzle is back. What's up, man? Good to see you, man. We were worried about you. We hadn't seen you in a couple weeks. I know you're coaching basketball and everything, but it's good to have you back and watching the show, man. All right. So then on the 1 through 9 on the right side, obviously number 9 with Independence getting their first win over East Meck in a tough nip and tuck game. Providence going to 2-0, getting their second win over Berry. Mallard Creek at 7. And I'll talk about them for just a second, in my opinion. They've played 2 really good teams. And now that what we saw from Vance Saturday night, that week 1 loss doesn't look as bad. I mean, let's think about that. Brandon, you saw, what happened Saturday. And then you saw, week 1, we were all kind of, wondering what's going on with Mallard Creek. But a 27-7 loss against that Vance team? A 7-0 game at halftime? I mean, 2 tough games, but, and Lake Norman, the team Mallard Creek lost to is a really good team too. So, 2 tough losses. I still think, they deserve to be in the top half of the best of last for sure, but, they did move down some spots. RGKL at 6, Huff at 5, Myers Park at 4, Olympic 3, Butler 2, and Vance 1. So, Otis, what are your thoughts on that order right there?
I think 9 through 8 is typically that's what it should be. Right there, Mallard Creek, I just know that just out of history and tradition, I think they should be ahead of RGKL. But you got to look at it as 7 games in this season. The first 2 games, they're trying to get used to new head coach, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. Kids are buying in. It just takes a while to get that rhythm going. Play calling, defensive call, kids understanding. You lose a lot when kids leave mid-year. You lose some of those seniors and that are going off to school. You lost some of those guys, so they got to make up for some young guys stepping in, playing earlier than expected. But I just respect history. I think they'll bounce back. But I'll leave my comments for that later on when they're gonna bounce back.
Okay.
I think Myers Park should be ahead of Olympic.
Mhm. Go ahead.
I think Myers Park should be ahead of Olympic, and this week's games are really clear out and tell us what's gonna happen over there in the SoCon conference. With that, and it'll show you how good Olympic really is when they face Berry. But Vance is still the dog in this out of 1 through 19. They're just playing head above everybody else, and like Hackett said, they fly to the ball, and when you got a defense that believe in that and flying to the ball, and defense win championships, offense get all the glory. But man, I just like the way Vance is playing right now.
Excellent. I agree with most of what you said.
But I'm a DC, you're OC. We never really agree.
Oh yeah,
we get on the same page. So hey, if me and you can get back to West Meck in 2010, I'm gonna be all right in this conversation.
That's another story for another time. I love to tell it. Producer Brandon, you got any thoughts on that right side?
I do. A couple of things. I think we all know, everyone knows, anyone who follows high school football knows Mallard Creek, their players, their coaches, they're much more talented than an 0-2 record would suggest. It's obvious. Everyone knows that they're better than the 0-2, just giving it an iron test and looking at 0-2. However, with that being said, this might ruffle some feathers, but for now, until those wins start coming along, until they bounce back, which we know they will bounce back, for now, on this poll, I would put Providence above Mallard Creek. I would put Providence at 7, Mallard Creek at 8. It's just something about me just doesn't sit well. I can't put 0-2 above 2-0. That's just something. I get the talent. I get it. They're going to bounce back. But until they do, I feel like Providence is more deserving of that 7, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And Mallard Creek should be at 8. And then Myers Park, I feel like very big game. Probably the biggest game in the city in the early season, Myers Park against Butler coming up. If Butler wins that, I feel like if Myers Park wins that, I feel like they jump all the way to 2. If they win. Yeah, if Myers Park can beat Butler, they jump to 2. But on the flip side, unfortunately, if Butler wins, they're not going to jump Vance just by beating Myers Park. Nobody's jumping Vance. Vance controls their own destiny. They're going to ride that number 1 spot until they mess up. It's just that's their spot to lose. They own that spot right now. So Myers Park definitely can jump up to number 2 with a win, though.
Yeah, and that's definitely a big game. We're going to talk about that when we get to the Blitz. I'm bringing on the Queen, Cherie Glenn. She's ready, and I'll tell you something, man. We're just friends, but this new hairstyle she's rocking is. Let's just bring her on so y'all can see.
Oh wow.
Woo! Good gracious.
Got that thing laid like Nene Leaks. Look at her, she's sweating, man.
This is what happens when you get a good blow dryer and a good flat iron.
I think you said about me today, Coach, you got that line crispy.
Yeah. I do what I can. Let me give you a hair flip.
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
Anyway.
You got any thoughts on the best of last right here?
I think the biggest thing for me is I've now gotten the chance to watch Mallard Creek play, Vance play, and Butler play. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of teeter-tottering between Butler being number 1. Like way Butler played last week, and I know it's a Porter Ridge team. I don't really know Porter Ridge's history to a great extent, but I know the way that Butler just dominated that game. I just, I have a hard time, especially watching the way Vance played Mallard Creek. And, I think they only scored, it was probably like 27 points or like 21 points or something like that. So the margin in which Butler came out and played Porter Ridge versus the way, Vance played Mallard Creek, I don't know. I put Butler at my number 1 right now.
Wow.
And I feel like until Vance plays a team to me that is worthy of some sort, like I want to see them play a Huff. I want to see them play an Olympic. I think Vance playing Olympic, I think that might be a really competitive game. And, I don't clearly see Vance beating them. So, I don't know. Butler right now to me is my number one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Me and Brandon have seen Butler and Vance, and I'll say, the thing with Vance is just the sheer amount of talent, and then how they're able to bring that talent at you at waves, especially on defense.
Right.
I mean, that defensive front seven is just super impressive.
And they do. And Vance does have a great defense. I mean, I struggled with trying to pick one person out of that defense that first week, to highlight. So I get it. They do have a lot of talent on that defense. But I need to see Vance and Butler play one another, whether it's now or, in the playoffs somewhere. Like I really need to see them two play each other, because Butler to me, like they really stood out last week. They really did. So
well, it's good to get that perspective. And we got a couple comments that I'll put on the screen right now. Well, first of all, Mizzle is very impressed with your new look. He meant to say, okay, Ms. Glenn, but there you go. So
appreciate that.
And then we've got we got a couple comments about Vance. Firmly believe Vance would smoke Butler from Packer fan Riley.
Okay.
Which I think most people, would say. Krishan Shepard, a great player up at Lake Norman. Watching Packer fan Riley, you can say that again. All right, so we got their opinion. Buddy Jim West, Vance's talent on defense is why I agree they are numero uno. This just kind of echoes, what I was just saying. Sir Robinson, a Butler player. I believe Butler is number one too. So, all right, well, we got a little Butler Vance back and forth going on. So
I want to see it. I would actually pay to go to that game, because I really want to see Butler and Vance play one another. Because Vance's defense versus Butler's offense alone, like I just want to see that, because if Vance's defense is the way it says it is, then they should fully shut down, Butler's offense. But watching Nelson score, just score those touchdowns like it was nothing. And even if I compared him to a Quavaris Crouch, and I watched Quavaris Crouch closely for 3 seasons, and it's like, even comparing him, like those runs that he made, like it was just effortless. Like, he was running over them boys. So like, if Vance can bring it, I'm ready to see it. But that offense to me they were number one to me.
That's a heck of a compliment.
It is. And like I said, I've watched him, so I know, what Quavaris was capable of. And there's not too many people that can match that. But this Nelson dude, like he was impressive.
Yeah,
I have to admit that was the reason I wanted to go to that game, because I remember telling you that he scored those 3 touchdowns, and I was like, I want to see what he's gonna do this next week. And he went out there against Porter Ridge, and he lit them boys up. Like I'm not even, between him and number 11 that scored the other 2 touchdowns, I was
that's
just like, oh.
Jake Snap, number 11.
Yeah, that's his name, Jake Snap. I remember, because I posted a video about him too. Yeah. Those boys, they were impressive. So
yep, heck of a players. Kyle Smith, our buddy, I make live scores on Twitter. Please, let's not give Vance a reason to prove a point this week. I don't need that being a more. Sorry, Kyle.
Well, this is all conference anyway, so you are constantly proving yourself, and that's the one thing I can say about Vance. Like, if you're gonna prove yourself all the way out. I know you guys have been the top dog, and you guys won the state championship last year. Do it again.
And then Jonathan Leach chiming in: is Porter Ridge even close to Mallard Creek's talent?
No, I
haven't seen Butler, but I have seen Vance.
Right.
So Porter Ridge is a well-coached team. Mike Hertz does a great job, and they got some players, that I think, are standout guys. But, if you look at it just at talent-wise, of course, Mallard Creek has a bevy of talent.
Well, they do. But even watching that game last week, I thought that there was a chance that Porter Ridge was going to come back on Butler, because Butler started sleeping on them. And, they had back-to-back turnovers. They had like an interception to end the half, and to end like the third quarter, I think, and ended up getting the ball back. And then on the very next drive, they had another turnover and they got the ball back again. So there was an opportunity there where I thought Porter Ridge might have actually come back on them. And had they executed properly on their offense, they probably could have made it a game. I think, their offense just wasn't enough for, Butler's defense, but that's another story.
Yeah, and we'll get into more of that when we get into the blitz and we get into the Mecklenburg County games. But this is a great job. Thanks everyone for the comments on that. Real quick, I'm gonna put you guys backstage. We're gonna bring on Kenny and Packer fan Riley. Hold on that love comment right there. We'll address that here shortly. We're gonna jump to the rapid review because I want to talk about Cabarrus County real quick. We're gonna bring on Kenny McLaren right before Coach Lindenberg comes on here at 8:00. All right, Kenny, let's get your thoughts on what happened in Cabarrus County last week.
Yeah, I think it was a great week for football in Cabarrus County. I mean, I think the new big rivalry in Cabarrus County is A.L. Brown and Central Cabarrus. I think that showed by the way that the fans got behind their teams and how excited how much excitement there was about this game. A.L. Brown had lost 2 straight years, and they didn't want it to be a third in a row. Those seniors wanted to go out beaten Central Cabarrus on varsity before they graduated. And it was a thriller. Went to double overtime. Coach Bev goes for 2 in the win, gives the ball to Elijah Horton, the strongest kid on the field, and he got stopped. But it was a great game. Great job at Kannapolis. Their defense played lights out. Central Cabarrus's defense played lights out. Was really impressed by both of those teams. I told you guys last week that I saw West Cabarrus doing exactly what they did. 16 points is an odd score, but I would have put in a 14-0 type range. Cox Mill is, they need a quarterback right now. They need a running back right now. They're super young. J.M. Robinson, I told you guys, man, I called it months ago that J. Rob is going to be the sleeper in the county. D-Rob is doing great things. He's got those kids believing. He's got those kids playing the way that he plays, acting the way that he acts, just all the energy. And Blue and Bryson and those guys all had great games versus Northwest Cabarrus. Concord, big win. They needed that win versus a team that didn't have a varsity football program last year. And then Mount Pleasant, they're rolling, man. 2-0, big win over Coach Crosby at Carson. And sounds like that Carson got behind really early. I think it was 27-0. And they came back and made it a really close game. So kudos to the Cougars. Coach Crosby is big on those kids, how hard they've been working since last year. And he feels like they can have a good season this year up there.
Yeah, and the Mount Pleasant people, y'all can be mad at me. Don't be mad at Kenny. He didn't leave y'all all. That was me. Blame all your hate mail at PepMan704 on Twitter.
Only Kannapolis people can hate on me. That's it.
Let's talk about you going viral, man. I should have, brought that up.
It's all good. I've been going against Kannapolis for a long time. Concord still runs in my blood a little bit somewhere, and so there's always just a little extra personal when anybody plays Kannapolis, for that matter. But especially a team that's as near and as dear as these Vikings are this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And for what we're talking about, what they did, and they got a great social media guy out there, A.L. Brown. I mean, he's putting out some really cool stuff. But they cut up what Kenny said last week about, how they beat A.L. Brown 2 years in a row. And it's on there, and it's pretty cool. It's on their Twitter. If we got time toward the end of the show, we'll play it on here. So you guys
we've said this for months now, the most influential, powerful prep sports show in all of the state. And last week proved exactly that.
Yeah, and you talk about influence. I see some comments. I think we're going to be playing in some locker rooms again this week. So there you go. All right, but thanks, Kenny. I see Coach Lindenberg in the background. He's ready to go. So let's shift gears a little bit, and we'll come back to the rapid review here shortly. All right, so now we're going to bring on our college coach of the week this week. We're very, very excited to speak with this gentleman. He's the tight ends coach, and he's the special teams coordinator for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons up in Winston-Salem. That is Coach Wayne Lindenberg, and we're going to bring him on the show right now as soon as I get my screen set up. All right,
Hey,
Coach.
how are you?
Good,
I'm
good.
doing great. How you
tonight?
doing?
I'm doing good, man. Glad to have you on the show tonight, man.
Great
And I
to
know,
be
you
on.
know, absolutely, absolutely. So, I know you guys are, in a real busy time right now. Given everything that's going on, in the off season for D1 schools. So once again, we really appreciate the time tonight.
Well,
First,
appreciate you having me on.
absolutely, Coach. First off, let's talk about recruiting. There's been a lot of things going on out here with COVID-19, a lot of different challenges for you guys in trying to recruit kids. It's still in the air whether you're going to have college camps, this summer because of the, NCAA restrictions and everything because of COVID-19. Talk about the challenges of recruiting the 21 and 22 class for you guys in particular.
I mean, it's definitely a challenging time. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it's uncharted territory from what we've done in the past. I mean, we're at Wake Forest. We've been really one of the reasons we've been successful is we've had a chance to evaluate guys live and in person to get to see them up close. And obviously that part has been taken away. And then a lot of the recruiting process too is getting to know these kids and getting to know them. When you meet them in person is always better than it is on over a Zoom call. But bottom line is we've had to adapt and have to do with what the rules tell us to do. And we've adapted and we've actually made really good use, I think, of the Zoom calls and those kind of things best you can. Obviously it's not ideal, but it is what it is. And we've had to adapt and, watch as much film as we can on a kid and, try to get, if a kid has done a workout or that kind of thing and watch that. And, but it's been definitely tricky trying to deal with it compared to in the past. And, but hopefully we're the lights at the end of the tunnel here and hopefully we can get this thing, out of here before too long. And hopefully there's potential. We can have some camps this summer. We hopefully in June. And, that'd be great to see some of these 22s and then 23s and that kind of thing. These young kids coming up, to get a chance to take a look at those guys, but we don't know yet, but hopefully we'll find out here soon when NCAA kind of announces what they're going to do.
Absolutely, Coach. I can only imagine you're trying to get a read on a, high school kid just based off what you're seeing on the computer where they may be, kind of putting on a show for you. And you don't really get that authentic, in touch, in-person feel. So,
well, I think one of the things that happens too is you kind of you have to rely a lot on the coaches and the high school coaches, especially guys and you trust. That's a big deal. So those guys you've known for a long, long time, you can kind of call on them and they'll tell you the truth and tell you what's going on with the kids. That really helps. It's just a relationship part. So we've had to fall back on that quite a bit as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Coach. So we're talking about recruiting. Let me ask you this, and this has been a popular question we're getting, from not only players, but some coaches as well. What do you guys look for in a future prospective Wake Forest Demon Deacon?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things we look for. Obviously, if they got to be a very good football player. They got to be a talented player. I mean, they got to do that. But for us, I mean, obviously academics is a huge piece for us. And we want guys that are high achievers in football, but also high achievers in the classroom. And those are guys we've won with and been successful with. And for us, I mean, character is a huge piece for what we're looking for at Wake Forest. I mean, that's been one of the reasons we've had really good teams here. And, we get guys that work hard and really want to find guys that love football. I mean, we really work hard to try to find guys that love it, that love the grind of it, that are not afraid to work and that want to get better. And hopefully they take that and parlay that to play in the future, but they also don't minimize how important it is for the classroom. So some people say, well, you're at Wake Forest, it's got to be tougher to get guys in, but really at the end of the day, I think it's better because we kind of get the guys we're looking for and the guys we want that are, again, high achievers in academics and high achievers and on the football field. And those are the guys we've won with. And, we want the guys that are football and academics or the high end social life. With the kids that certainly have a social life, but that really needs to be kind of the third priority behind football and academics, obviously behind their family and their faith. That would be first and foremost. But those next two, football and academics and then social life, would be down a little below that. So if we get those kind of guys, those are the guys we can win with.
Well said, Coach. That's a great breakdown right there. I appreciate that. Players that are watching this, I know you are. Make sure you take note of that. Coach gave you a great breakdown of what it takes to be, a D1, player at Wake Forest. So, there you go. Coach, let me talk a little bit about, you for a second. And let me ask you, what was your path like to becoming, the tight end coach, or special teams coordinator at Wake Forest? I know it's been a bit of a winding road for sure.
Well, I don't know how far back you want to go, but I mean, this is my 26th year in coaching coming up, believe it or not, which is unbelievable. I'm from Radford, Virginia, right up the road, a couple hours from 2 hours or so from you guys, hour and 45 from where we are here in Winston. My dad was a high school football coach for a long time. He coached for 48 years. So I just kind of lived it and loved it. And, it's kind of been what I've known my whole life. And, so I went from there, and then I played at Virginia. I wasn't a very good player, but played there, and I was a walk-on there and quarterback, and played 4 years there with a lot of great guys and learned a lot of football from some really good coaches. And then from there, I moved up to William & Mary. I'm going to give you the Cliff Note version. It'll take too long, but I went to William & Mary for 2 years and 2 more years as a graduate assistant at Virginia. It took me basically 4 years, and I was almost to the point I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get a full-time job. And finally got lucky and got hired back to William & Mary in the summer of 2000, and then was there for a few years, and then went to the University of Richmond. I actually met Coach Clausen at Virginia's football camp in 2002, maybe.
Okay.
He was the head coach at Fordham, and I was at William & Mary, and we kind of got to know each other. I went up and visited in off season, talked some ball, and then he got the Richmond job and called me up and asked me if I wanted to be his offense coordinator. And so that was 2004 to 06. And then he kind of went to Tennessee and moved on his way to Bowling Green, and I went to Virginia. And then I ended up at University of Connecticut, and then from there he hired me back to Wake Forest. So it's been great because I'm very, very fortunate because I got a chance to be around a guy like him. He's a first-class guy, a great guy to work for, and it's been extremely successful where he's been a head coach at 4 different schools. There aren't many guys that can say that, and everywhere he's been, he's won, and he does things the right way, and he's first-class guy, great guy to work for, and I'm very fortunate.
Absolutely. I mean, everything I've heard about him has been, top-notch, first class, all the way. Good stuff, Coach. And one of the things that, we always get from coaches that watch this, they always want to figure out how they can break into the college level. And, once again, it's just, opportunity and networking and meeting people and, getting on and, just kind of working your way up. So that's excellent.
It just takes work. And, I spent my first year at William & Mary. I was a volunteer. I slept on the couch in the freshman locker room at Zabel Stadium, and that's what I did. And I didn't make any money, and got bumped up to $1,000 a month that spring, and coaching the tight ends. And then from there, like I said, moved. So basically, like I tell these young guys, I'm like, they want to get into coaching. I said, you got to put in the time. You got to pay the it's not an overnight thing. It takes time, and you got to learn your trade first and foremost, and then you got to build your connections and those kind of things. But, a lot of guys kind of get caught up in, hey, where am I going to go? Instead of, you got to be where your feet are, and you got to work your tail off of what you're doing. Whatever job's given to you, do it to the best of your ability, and then people will take notice of you, and then hopefully good things will work out. There's no promises there, but, if you don't do good job in the first place, it's not going to happen.
Well said, Coach. Good stuff, man. We're going to bring on our resident former coach, Kenny McClamrock. You might know him.
Oh, man. Spent a lot of time in his office there at Central Cabarrus, that's for sure.
We're going to bring him on and let him ask you a question or two, Coach.
Absolutely.
Coach,
what's up,
how
buddy?
are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Man, I'll tell you what, it's so good to see you. I'll tell you what, Pep, one of the things that Coach Lindbergh does so well is he recruits the right way. He gets to know his coaches. He just mentioned it, knowing the coaches, rely on his coaches. I mean, he would call me up and he would ask me how my boys were doing, just randomly out of the blue. It's just the kind of person that he is. Coach Lindbergh, how much you mean to me and how much I appreciate you over the years and looking out for us, letting us take guys to your practice. Our entire team came up to your practice last spring. But you mentioned several things. I wanted to ask you. Obviously, Coach Clawson, incredible coach. I mean, you guys do incredible things at Wake Forest with guys that probably the rest of the ACC wouldn't take because of their grades or whatever the reason is. You got a small school, but you guys consistently do extremely well in the ACC. You win bowl games. I've been to your practices. What's so different about Coach Clawson? I mean, it's not the rah-rah at your practice. There's not a hooping and hollering, but you guys win. What is that culture difference that you guys have that maybe other schools do not have?
Well, I don't know if it's not what other people have. I think just to say what he does so well is first of all, he's got a really good staff of guys that he trusts and he's been around him for a long time. And, and I think that's the first thing. And then we recruited, before I was there at Wake Forest, I mean, he's been there 3 years longer than I have, recruited the right kids that fit Wake Forest and fit the system we're looking for, that are, like I mentioned earlier, the high character kids that do things the right way, that are overachiever workers, grinders, and I think the thing that he's done there is just kind of establish that football is important, that kids love football, and then they love to come out there to practice. They love to come out to play. And we run very disciplined. We're very disciplined. We're one of the least penalized teams in the country every year. We try not to turn the ball over. Hopefully never. That's kind of, the ball is a program for us. I mean, we're gonna harp on all the small details of doing those things the right way. And but I think it's just an overall culture of how he's developed of just doing things the right way and not cutting corners. And and just more than anything, though, too, is just relationships and getting the right people there.
That's great. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Kenny. That's good stuff, man. Appreciate it. All right, Coach. My next question is kind of about, you being a special teams coordinator. It is a very important phase of the game. 1/3, the game, just like offense and defense. How do you stress the importance of special teams to your players up at Wake Forest?
It's interesting you say that because we're about to start spring practice this week. And, it's always something I'm asking special teams coaches from everywhere about, hey, how are some different ways and methods you get it kids to buy into what you're doing. And, I think you just got to try to show them examples of plays that make a difference in a game. You got to show them, what a good big play on special teams, how that can impact the game. And I think it comes from the top down. Coach does a great job of emphasizing special teams and how important it is. And we're going to play starters on special teams as well as backups too. But I think it comes from the top down that it's important, that it's a critical phase of what you're doing. Kids come in, they think that, it's offense and defense and, but they got to understand that this is a huge part of it. And, we harp on it all the time, whether it's, sometimes you might bring up hey, you go to the next level in NFL, you're going to have to play on special teams unless you're the number one X receiver. You're going to play. It's what's going to be. But more than anything for us, I mean, we just try to emphasize how important it is for the whole team. If we want to get to where we want to go, that's got to be a phase that helps us win games and helps make a difference in games. So you just got to keep showing them the examples of, hey, this is what happens when we do things the right way on special teams. And these are the examples of things we don't do the right way, then how it could hurt us. So, I mean, just a constant deal of trying to, and just different ways of trying to motivate them, or different awards, whatever it might be. And, we're always looking for things. If you have any good ideas to keep giving to me, I'll take them. Like I said, I was talking to Coach University of Iowa today and talking about some of the very same things. So we're just always working and trying to learn things.
Good deal, Coach. And speaking of special teams, you guys got a special kicker, out of our, Charlotte area from Myers Park, Matthew Dennis.
Sure.
A very talented young man. What can you say about him?
Well, he just got here, but Matthew, I think, has got a chance to be a good one. And, he's we got another kid from Clover, South Carolina, Nick Skibu, who's an All-American kicker for us. And he's very similar he's coached by the same coach, Dan Orner, down in Charlotte, kind of coaches a lot of these guys. And, we have another kid on our team, Zach Murphy, that's one of Dan's guys too. And I've had guys in the past that, but we really feel, hopefully think Matthew's going to be he came to camp and Matthew did an excellent job, very consistent swing. And, You know, he's I think he has a chance to be a really good player. Nick's got one more year, and then hopefully Matthew can step in after that. But I think he's got a bright future, and we're really excited about him.
Awesome. That's good to hear. That's good to hear, Coach. Our last question for you. You mentioned Coach Clausen earlier being a first-class guy. What is your overall program philosophy at Wake Forest? What can you share about that with us?
Well, that's a pretty broad question. It's a good one, though. Basically, we are a developmental program. You know, we're not getting the finished product. You know, we hadn't always getting the 5-star guys. I mean, that's just not, you know, we hope we get as high level as we can possibly get, and we'll try to get them. But we got it. The guys we get, again, when I go back to what we do, we're really trying to find guys that are the grinders and the workers and do things the right way. And I just think when we get those people and you get them all in there, and then the philosophy of our program kind of fits into that we're just a detail-oriented, disciplined program that does things the right way. And, you know, we're physical, play hard, tough, get after you. I mean, that's kind of one of those teams that, you know, you hope it's people don't want to play you because you just fight and you scrap and you claw and you make it tough on everybody. We try to make it hard for people to beat us with how we play, with not turning the ball over and not having penalties. And, you know, I just feel like if you have the right people and you put them in the right position and you have the right kind of culture in the background, then you can do those things. When you don't have all those factors in there, then sometimes the discipline kind of it frays and you don't have all the things you want to do. So we know our margin for error is small. We have to do things the right way, and that's what we're constantly preaching. And I think Coach has done a tremendous job just setting the tone for, you know, the kind of people we want in the program, and then how we're going the level we're going to have in the competition, and you know, like I said, the grit and the toughness that we're looking for out of our football team.
That's well said, Coach. And that's one of the things, you know, I always think about with Wake Forest is tough, you know, hard-nosed football. And, you know, it's a joy to, you know, watch your program play, you know, every Saturday and, you know, on different days here in the ACC country. And, you know, we appreciate you coming on tonight, man. I think this is awesome. And, you know, hopefully this summer, you know, we'll be able to, you know, get out and, you know, see you guys in action if we're able to have some camps here.
I hope so. It'd be great. It'd be great to be back on the road again and see coaches in Charlotte area and see kids. And it's been too long, but you know, I know the kids would feel the same way, and for us to get back on the road. But I appreciate you having me on, and I think you guys do a great job there, and hopefully see you again in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Coach.
You're welcome. You guys take care.
All right, you too, bud. All right, so that was Wayne Lindenberg. He's the tight ends coach and the special teams coordinator for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Appreciate his time coming on tonight, sharing a whole bunch of wisdom about, you know, their program up at Wake Forest. And, you know, hopefully, you know, I get a lot of DMs from players asking, you know, what are college coaches looking for? What do I need to do to, you know, get noticed by that? You know, every week we're having, you know, big time college coaches. Let me bring on Kenny McClamrock real quick, because, you know, Kenny has kind of coordinated this effort for us, you know, with bringing on, you know, all these coaches. And, you know, the biggest reason why we're doing this is we're trying to give you guys resources to use on, you know, what college coaches are looking for, you know, the exposure aspect for their program. They do get something out of it too. But this is something that we're going to continue to do. And, Kenny, I just want to thank you and shout you out for, you know, allowing us to do this, you know, on this program.
Well, like I said, Pep, I'm bringing on, you know, my favorite coaches. So all of these guys, they recruit Charlotte, they recruit Cabarrus County, they recruit the 704, and they're all good people. They do things the right way, and Coach Lindenberg is one of the best of the best.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm gonna bring the Queen on because we got some comments we got to address here. So, Kenny, we're gonna come right back to you. And, you know, Queen, I think we got some people that, you know, are disagreeing with your take on Butler and, you know, Vance here. So let me put a couple things on the screen here. Well, first of all, Packer fan Riley says, no team in the Southwestern 4A is beating Butler at all. Don't get me wrong. So, you know, if we had the conference breakdown rankings, I would put Butler at the top of the Southwest. And obviously you would too.
Right.
You know, based on, you know, what you've seen so far. Cliff Andrews, Mallard Creek at 0-2 would give Butler a game, if not beat them. Interesting. Porter Ridge is not as talented by far as Creek. So let me bring in Brandon and Otis on this too, because I want to get you guys' opinion on that right there. Mallard Creek at 0-2 would give Butler a game. Now, I agree. They would give him a game. But Mallard Creek beating Butler? And what do you guys think about that?
Mallard Creek's gonna give anyone a game. They're talented. They're not, whether they win or lose, they're too talented to just get blown out of the water. But beating them, that's I can't go there based on what I've seen so far. I can't go there just yet. I can't see beating Butler. No, not based on body of work so far. I can't go there.
Go ahead, Queen.
Well, I was just gonna say, and I think that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, having watched Harding for those years that I watched them, I watched this team literally go from, I guess it was like 1-10, 1-11 to 5-7 to winning a state championship. And they did it more so on their offense. And I just, I don't see a lot of teams really coming up against. It's literally like when Harding had, Crouch, and I think it was either Decarius Thompson or I forget number 2 what his name was, but having those two, they didn't have a lot on their offense either, but what they had on their offense was just enough to where it overcame a lot of those games. And I mean, even games like a Gaffney, where a lot of people thought that Gaffney was going to come in there and beat those boys, and they sent them on their way, off of that grass field. So it's just like, when I see stuff like that, like, I'm one of the main people that'll preach, defense wins games. And I get that. But until I see a team that's going to slow down what Butler's offense has brought to the field and what I saw last week, I just, they're my number one, and hopefully, Vance will come out and prove what they need to prove to put themselves back in that position of number one. But for me, Butler had it. They had it.
I mean, I got some friends in the coaching world that are over there. And so in talking to them and speaking with one of my boys all the time, I think they're going to be all right. You never know what's going to happen on a Friday night up under the light. So, may the best team win. So I'm not really going to speak on either one or nor. I just think that both programs are pretty good. They've been traditionally good over the last 4 or 5 years. So they're going to bring something to each one of them, going to bring something to the table. And it's going to be a fight to the end. But, I mean, I'm like you, Queen. I want to see him play, and then we go from there. But I keep hearing you go back to this Harden run and the Harden team. I've told people before that I just believe that Coach Grimes, has something in store for those kids, and they bought into it. And his stepson, I believe, and it's just my personal opinion, was probably the best athlete in my eyes in Charlotte at the time. He was a game changer. He was a guy that could change the game on offense or defense.
Are you talking about Brahim?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think that he was just that difference maker for them. Now you put Crouch on it. I mean, Crouch was a grown man playing amongst high school kids. So, hey,
that's how I feel about Nelson, because it's like, I don't know, whatever they brought to that game last week, it put me in the mind of that. It really did. And like I said, there's not too many people that I will readily compare to Crouch. Like, there's not, because I've seen him. I've watched him bust out on the 60-something yard run, and ain't nobody touching him. And even if they do touch him, that he's dragging them with him. And I felt kind of like that's what Nelson was doing last week. Like, I really did. And I just, I don't know. I don't. And the way Vance came out against Mallard Creek, it was the first game of the season for both teams, but it was just the way they came out was kind of flat. And even when they did kind of crank it up, I mean, they still only scored like 20-something points. I'm just, I feel like the way Butler did it last week, it was a totally different monster. It's kind of like me watching Independence in those days when we was running the 12-point boys. But, I don't really know a lot about football, so I can't really speak on it like that. But
All right. So this comment from Charles Artist. Thanks for giving Vance more motivation. Donuts. And we talked with the defense coordinator, Anthony Hackett, talking about donut parties is what their goal is at Vance. So if y'all don't know, that's a shutout.
Right.
Vance can beat in all three phases. And, special teams phase, I'll tell you, me and Brandon saw it. Last week there was a kickoff where Vance just came down and just straight stripped the Hopewell returner and ran it back for a touchdown. And, those three phases of the game are just super impressive for those guys. And that's why I got them number one. Now, the one that's to my other way, Cherie, direct all your hate mail to @Cherie talks to, or no,
I will take it.
at LWOS Howard on Twitter. Do not send me messages because I got Vance number one.
Because I've literally, like, the entire time that I've been covering high school football, I've literally only watched Vance play one game. And that was the game that I saw against Mallard Creek. And it was like, if that's what Vance had to offer, especially as the former state champion, it just wasn't very impressive to me. And I probably have some more football to watch, and I will gladly do that. And be proven wrong if that's the case. But, I just.
All right.
They scored 71. Maybe they needed to score 72.
Well, no. See, I didn't see that last week, and I was like, okay, Vance, y'all did that. But it was also a Hopewell team that's, they've done some things, but they're still miles away from Vance in the football realm. So, like watching them score 72 on them is like, was that all that impressive?
Well, it don't matter. As a coach, to take a L and get beat that way, it's a humbling experience.
Yeah.
And I'll say there's one guy that I love to death. I love him like a brother. We had moments where we looked at each other and said, "Oh, we getting rolled on right now." And so, I just understand that it happened to Vance did that last week to Hopewell.
Yeah.
Those kids are gonna bounce back, but Vance to me is just playing with a different swag. They're playing with a different swagger. So if they're gonna have donut parties and wing parties and let them go out there and do it, but until you knock that king off the mountain, I guess Vance gonna stay right up there swinging a V flag.
Well, see, and that's the other thing that
what Butler does when they play Vance, and then we'll have this conversation.
Right. Well, and that's what I was gonna say too.
Donuts for Vance, huh?
That's what I was gonna say too, because even last week, like watching Butler, like the way they like their swag that they had coming out into that game last week, it kind of put me in the mind frame of Vance when I watched them play Mallard Creek that first week. It was like they just had this swag about them, and it was just like, from watching them the year before when they played Independence, they played that game, but they didn't have the same, I guess to me, maturity level that I think had in that game last week. So yeah, it's definitely gonna be a sight to behold. And I'm really ready for that game. Even if like I said, I gotta pay to get into that game because I want to see that one.
All right, good stuff, guys. We're gonna get back to our detailed debate about this in just a few minutes, but we gotta break down. I'll put you guys in the background. We're gonna break down some more games here that we saw last week. And we're going to go back to the rapid review, and then we'll go into the blitz or our game week 3 previews. So I'm going to jump in and go ahead and do Gaston County right here. If I can get my thing set up. Now that may help. There we go. All right. Good gracious. All right. So Gaston County real quick. Ashbrook with a tight win on Saturday over Forest View 9-7. Some guys really played well. Chandler Meeks, the quarterback, Jadon Soul at DB had a couple interceptions. Congrats to Coach Darius James on picking up his first win. Friend of the show. He's been on the show before. Crest with a big win over Stuart Kramer, 55-24. Mountain Island getting a big win over Christ the King, 58-0. And then the game Joe Hughes was at, South Point defeating East Gaston, 44-6. So that was what happened in Gaston County last week. Mecklenburg County. Real quick, we've been kind of talking about a few of these guys already. The big Lake Norman win over Mallard Creek, 29-24. Huff 37, Mooresville 6. We actually, Brandon, you said Vance should have scored 72. They actually missed a point on that, so they did win 72-0 over Hopewell. West Yard over North Meck. Shout out to Sam Griner and our illustrious Coach Shea Butter Billups on their first win together, 24-12 over North Meck. Olympic over South Meck. The game me and Brandon were at 20-3. Providence 27, Berry 7. Providence going to 2-0 on the season. Independence with a comeback late victory over East Meck 15-9 in another defensive game for the Patriots. Hickory Ridge, big win over Garinger 46-0. They're 2-0 also in the Southwestern. Some people think they are the best team in the Southwestern 4A. We'll talk about that. Myers Park going 2-0, 35-9 over Rocky River. The big game that was streamed this week by the spring season, those guys are doing a great job streaming that game with commentary every week. Weddington defeating Catholic 7-3 in a big defensive slugfest. Our Justin Adams was there. He'll be on a little later to talk about that. And then North Lincoln defeating West Meck 34-0. So I want to bring you guys in. And if you got any thoughts, on those games right there, feel free to share what your thoughts were. Or not.
I'm sorry. I really am just nervous for Garinger. Obviously, that's the game I'll probably be going to this week, against East Meck. That was a defensive game of sorts, them versus Independence. I really want to see Garinger get a victory this year. I think they need it. So, I'm hoping that low score gives Garinger, some sort of hope. But, again, you don't know what's going on with that team inside that locker room. So that one's going to be really interesting to see. I'm surprised by that Weddington Catholic game. I really thought I thought it was going to be the opposite. I thought they were going to light the scoreboard up. And them boys was like, nah, we playing defense out this bug. And they put that one all the way down. So other than that, kudos again to Coach Billups on his win against North Meck. That's a big win. Olympic is that one team that I'm surprised by, and I know y'all probably aren't, but just having watched them over the last few seasons, I'm like, they really creeping up on some people, and that I don't know if a lot of people are on notice about that, but they probably need to get on notice.
No,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Otis.
I don't think people are need to be put on notice by Olympic. Olympic has gotten better every year. Brandon Thompson has taken over last year, and they got to the playoffs. They got against us in the first round. So those kids got a bad taste in their mouth about that playoff loss. I see them every day in my neighborhood.
Right.
I gotta see them when we go to Walmart. I gotta see them when I go to QT Food Line. I gotta see them when I go pick up my son every day. So I look forward to seeing what they're gonna do Friday night against POB. That's 2 back-to-back weeks where they're playing rival teams. So South Meck is a rival, POB is a rival. So I just wish they put more points on the board so they can start shutting people up and bump up. But I know that the quarterback is gonna put the ball where it needs to be, and that running back they got, he is a dog too. And they got 2 defensive ends that if you don't get that quarterback to get that ball at their hand, somebody's son is gonna be hurt. Somebody's son is gonna be hurt. And I think East Meck is in the Garinger game is gonna be what it is. May the best team win. Yeah, I want Garinger to get a win. Myers Park, that Weddington game, it was what I thought it was gonna be, a nail biter. And North Lincoln, West Meck, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah. I was a little surprised when I saw that score myself with North Lincoln, West Meck. Given the fact that West Meck has some weapons, on the offensive side of football, but that's a little bit of adjustment period over there. But I'm gonna put everybody backstage because we got something special we got to do real quick. For a long time, we have been concerned about our fellow brother, the illustrious Coach Billups, and his hair. It has become a big point of contention on this show. I mean, we really had an intervention about this several weeks ago, and he refused to get his hair cut. But tonight, premiering on Football Focus Weekly, we have the freshly cut Shea Butter Coach Braden Billups right here. And we're going to bring it on right now. Hallelujah!
Hey.
Oh, my God.
Hey, all I'm going to say is make sure your wife, your girlfriends, your mistress, look, I'm back. And, hey, I've been trying to be humble. It's hard to be humble when you're standing on a jumbotron. You know how I am. You know how I am. I'm sorry I'm late. You know, I had to play my Madden game lead first, and then I had to come whoop. But I had to come show my boy Pep some love. I already knew Joe was gonna have something to say, but it's all right. It's all right. I would take that, but it is what it is. I'm back.
Congratulations. We're very proud. And it looks great. It looks great on you. I mean, Miss Moten has her seal of approval right there. With the
I hate to be like this. I hate to be conceited, but I don't want to do this. He no longer our homeless friend. Yeah, my head was fried. Hey, when Pep saw, so funny story. Y'all really don't understand me and Pep. I don't think they really understand me and your friendship. Pep saw we was having a backstage conversation, and I took my hat off, and Pep said, "Oh, you all right?" I said, "Bro." That's how I know he loved me. I
was very concerned. I was like, "What is
I said,
going
man,
on?"
I just don't have no time. And he said, "Can you please make some time?" And then my ex-wife, shout out to Danielle. I came to her house to pick my daughter up, and she looked at me. She said, "Is everything cool with you?" I said, "I'm getting my hair cut." So I went and got my hair cut. So Danielle, she got my hair cut. She forced me to go get my hair cut, so I had to go get my hair cut.
There we go. All right, and Miss Burlow's chiming in, looking good, Mr. Cotter. All right, well, I guess she said you look good. I mean, I might have missed that reference there, but thank you, Miss Burlows. Appreciate that.
Well, Pep.
Yeah,
I hate to be conceited. Even with hair or without my hair, I know what I look like. So I have 2 children. So they'll tell you. I'll tell everybody that.
Oh, we're gonna move on.
I had 2 kids.
That's a whole nother show. That's an adult topic. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. All right, so we're gonna jump back in. Oh, let's go on. Let's go on. All right, Bears can Kenny. Save us, Kenny. My goodness.
Coach Phillips, you look good, brother. You look real good. I think that this week, is an interesting week in Cabarrus County. There shouldn't be a lot of upsets this week. Cox Mill goes to A.L. Brown. We mentioned it earlier. Cox Mill, they're still looking to find an offense. I don't think they've scored in the first 2 weeks. A.L. Brown has a really stout defense. The running back looked really good last week. They had a DB with a pick 6. I think A.L. Brown rolls in this one. So, Coach Merritt, you can put that up in the weight room tomorrow that I'm saying that A.L. Brown rolls this Friday night. Concord at West Cabarrus just got a text message. That game has been moved to Monday night, Pep. Not really sure what's going on with that one there. But I think that West Cabarrus picks up their second win of their inaugural season. In this one, Central Cabarrus at Northwest. I think that Central Cabarrus bounces back in a big way. I expect them to look really good Friday night versus Northwest Cabarrus. Hardin at J.M. Robinson. I know I've got some Hardin people on the show, but my dude D-Rob is going to 3-0 after that team won 1 football game last year. And then Central Academy versus Mount Pleasant. Coach Johns is doing an incredible job. They're 2-0 right now. They've beaten 2 Rowan County teams. They go down to wherever the heck Central Academy is, Monroe or somewhere. And Coach Johns and Coach Riggins my defensive line coach at Central, and Coach Pruitt, my quarterbacks coach at Central. Those boys are going to be 3-0 Friday night.
All right, good deal. See now, A.L. Brown people, we don't hate you.
Put that up on your scoreboard in the weight room, and do your little hang cleans in there. I said y'all gonna win big this week.
And by the way, A.L. Brown people, I just interviewed your linebacker, Torrin Wright. That interview is on the Facebook page. I'll get it out on Instagram and Twitter after the show tonight. Really talented young man. He just picked up an offer from Michigan recently. So, yeah, absolutely. All right. Thank you, Kenny. Appreciate that, man. All right. Now let's move on. Gaston County Blitz. Otis, I'm going to bring you on. Let's go through the Gaston County Blitz real quick. All right. What you got here, Ashbrook at Crest?
I'm going to go with Crest in this one. It's a dog fight for my college roommate in Kings Mountain. But I'm going with my roommate. I got to go with Hunter Hustle on this game. I'm taking Mountain Island Charter. The Forest View and North Gaston game, I think it's been postponed.
Yeah, they put North Gaston put out a whole different schedule. They're trying to make some adjustments over there. So that game has kind of been moved around a little bit. So South Point, Stuart Kramer.
I'm gonna go with South Point on this. And I'm going to go RS Central over East Gaston.
Okay. Those are some big matchups. That Thomas Jefferson Mountain Island matchup is a huge matchup in that conference in 1A.
And this is the game right here for our conference. I coach in this conference. I think that'll be the game that everybody's talking about. I'll be for the first place in the conference. And we can't wait to see what happens. I know if we didn't get hit by the bug, we would have played both of those. Mountain Island first week, Thomas Jefferson second week. But we got hit by that bug, and administration thought it was best for the safety reasons of our kids and the student athletes. Shut everything down, get everybody situated, get everybody back healthy. But knowing them, seeing the film on them, and talking to people, and this is gonna be the conference championship game right here.
Absolutely. Joe Hughes chiming in a little bit right here. He's on assignment as usual. Hardest working man out here in sports reporting, man. He says Stuart Kramer has never beaten South Point in its history. Wow. That's pretty dang on impressive right there. For Stuart Kramer, man, they got to find a way to stop the run. They gave up a lot of running yards last week against Crest, and Timothy Ruff especially had another big game. Over 200 yards rushing on the ground. And we know in that South Point offense, they're going to run the football right at you.
Run it right at you.
Yeah. So, that's going to be the big chore. But Stuart Kramer, quarterback, had a nice game pass, and we're going to get to him a little bit when we do the CFI players of the game. So a little bit of contrasting styles right there. But if Stuart Kramer find a way to slow down the run game, they may have a shot, at South Point. But, we'll see. We'll see on that one. All right, good deal. Thanks, Otis. Appreciate that. We'll keep you on, and we're gonna bring on. Let me add this one more thing from Joe right there. We're talking about the Stuart Kramer quarterback. Watch out for Justin Rockmore. He threw for 300 plus. Yeah, he was impressive, man. Doing that against a Crest team, is not a slouch performance. So good job for him. And I want to dig into him a little bit more. And see, check out his game a little bit on film. But good deal right there. All right. So let's move on to the first part of the Mecklenburg County Blitz. I'm going to bring Brandon and Cherie on along with you, Otis. All right, let's get them on. And I will bring on Billups too. Let's bring on everybody. All right. So this first part of the Mecklenburg County Blitz, the game me and Brandon will be attending. I hadn't made a post about it yet, but Huff at Lake Norman. Both teams are 2-0. They got the 2-0 in different ways, but what are you guys' thoughts on that one? That's a big game up in the northern part of the county.
I think that's game of the week. Well, for y'all, my game of the week is Creek versus West Charlotte. That's my game of the week.
Well, of course.
But that's my game of the week. But you want to be a politician right now and be CFI employee Brandon Billups, I think Huff versus Lake Norman is the biggest game in the city.
Okay. All right. What's thoughts on Lake Norman? I know, you guys faced them week one.
I don't want to talk bad because Lake Norman, they got that dub against us. But Lake Norman is a very disciplined, they're a very sound team, and you just can't be ruthless against Lake Norman. You gotta play their game. You can't play their game. You gotta go in there and hit them in the mouth. You don't hit Lake Norman in the mouth, they'll get you this year. And shout out to Coach O, man. I respect Coach Oliver. He's doing a great thing up there. But I know Huff, and they got mean D lineman Curtis Neal.
Absolutely.
Them boys come ready to play. And one thing I respect about Curtis Neal is he got a Coach Billups mentality. If you chirp at me, I'm gonna chirp back at you, and you better show me. So I respect Curtis Neal. I like him. I like him. Oldest know. Curtis Neal, old school play. He one of one. You can't go talk to him. You gotta show him.
Yeah,
I like that. So,
I'm with Billups on this. I gotta be political because my heart is torn between two schools. So I'm like, I think that Lake Norman will do a good job. I think Huff gonna do a good job. It's two different styles of football on both sides of the ball. So it's gonna happen at the Lake, and we'll see who comes out victorious. Somebody's gonna have a long bus ride home, or somebody's gonna have a happy bus ride home. So, we'll see how that goes. I think Vance will keep the gas going. Ain't nobody gonna take their foot off the gas over there.
No.
Hopewell and North Meck are fighting. There's a rivalry game.
Hey, that's a good game. That's really a good game.
Yeah.
God, please don't sleep on North Meck. Please, please don't sleep on North.
Both teams are coming off a loss, and they want to get that taste out their mouth. Hopewell won the game last year to win the Shield. They're gonna try to keep that Shield at home with them. North Meck wants that Shield because they gave it away. So we'll see. Like I told my boys today in the hallway, if they do exactly what we expect them to do over there at West Charlotte, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. And I'm not gonna talk about what I told my boys.
We don't talk. Hey, pal, tell them we don't talk at West. We just play. We just play.
We just gonna play. We gonna line up.
We just play. Hey, that's why y'all haven't seen me chirping. We just come play. I'm back to 14, 15-year-old. Just come play.
Hey, Billups, but you know what? It's one thing that tradition does not lie. You're going to get hit in the mouth when you come on the west side of town. And even though we got to go to Waddell, we're going to make Waddell the Lions Den, and we're going to play football, and it's going to be what it's going to be.
But one thing I expect from Mallet Creek, they don't come out punching. They don't come out in a heavyweight fight.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't come trying to knock us out. And I respect that. So it's like I was telling somebody on Twitter today. Sometimes you want that old Charlotte feeling back. And we all been around old Charlotte. We know, like, even when you were playing the G Code, the Hardins, the North, the East Mets and stuff like that, you don't get punched in the mouth. You might win that game. You don't get punched in the mouth. Even Providence, you think about Providence, you don't come out there with some war wounds. So at the end of the day, I respect Mallet Creek. I respect my opponent because, I'm a connoisseur of war. I've been in war myself. And you gotta have respect, and you just gotta go hunt. So that's why I don't come on this show woofing. But I think it's a lot of big games this week. But I would not count Mallet Creek out because they always still part of that mentality. Coach Tinsley is not the problem because I've been seeing a lot of people say maybe the coaching staff, but y'all gotta understand we haven't had a lot of the cards that we got dealt. Anybody can run the table on us. If you play spades, anybody can run the table on CMS right now. It's just who been implementing their systems in and stuff like that. But I'll tell you one thing, we don't give them our best shot. And I know they don't give us their best shot. So hey, I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to, my other game I'm really interested to see, and it's not because these two head coaches are my good friends with Joe Evans and Wes Ward at that South Meck Providence game. Yep. Mm-hmm. I don't know, South Meck, they're probably one of the most underestimated 0-2 teams, just like Creek is. Y'all gotta stop looking at these teams like at these records because these boys playing. You know what I'm saying? They was running through some juggernauts.
Yeah, I think they played, two of the best teams in the SOMAC 7 in RGKL and Olympic. So that South Mac Providence game is going to tell us a lot about both of those teams. It's going to tell us, is Providence on that, RGKL and Olympic level, and is South Mac, on that, are they in that conversation for, approaching that, top of the conference there after playing two very good teams. So, that's a game to watch, for sure.
Yeah, that's the only thing about SOMAC. Like, that's why I'm glad to be back now. This ain't no slight and none in school. It's a constant battle every week because you don't know what you're gonna get. SOMAC, it's a lot of projects, and just because you're at a project school don't mean you less than the battle. It's the SEC in IMAC. Everybody know that, but SOMAC, you just really want to see. And I know Ward, and I know Joe, and Pep, you've been around both of them. Them guys, they drink their little Banes and their pre-workout. They go get it. They're high energy guys, but I'm gonna be rooting for both. This is the first time I'm gonna be neutral when Providence is playing because everybody know my Providence class. I love them kids over there. You got Luke Bailey, he balling right now, but I want to see like Panos. All my South Mac folks over there, I want to see them do good. And I love Joe. Joe is my guy. He's a West Mac guy. Like a lot of people don't know that Joe's a West Mac guy. He's a Charlotte guy, so I respect Joe for that.
You be one, baby.
Yeah, yeah. Joe is my guy. Like I love Joe. He's the most misunderstood person in Charlotte. Like I love Joe. Joe is my guy. But I'm not gonna be rooting for nobody. I'm gonna be rooting for both teams. That when Providence play either South Mac or AK, I always root for both because I got too many connections to both schools. So yeah, that's tough.
Right. So a couple comments. Kyle, Petman coming to Iredell County. It's big when that happens. I've been to Lake Norman before. I've been to Mooresville before. This ain't the first time.
Lake Norman has the best press box ever.
Yeah, I started the Friday Night Live show, which is our Friday night talk show every Friday night after the games. When I get home, get settled, to go live. First show was last week. It's open to anyone that wants to come on and talk. We had, some of the Lake Norman guys on there last week, and they called us out, said we ain't coming up there. So we're coming. All right, we're coming up to Lake Norman for this big game. Crystal White commenting, Curtis Neal and Krishan Shepard have been good friends since elementary and put on the show every time they're on the field together. So I hope they put on the show Friday night because
they will.
Yeah, we're gonna be there, and
and we know Big Kirk. If you know Big Kirk, like everybody else, and I know Big Kirk, he don't back down.
Oh, absolutely not. All right, second part of Mecklenburg County Blitz. Berry at Olympic, East Met Garinger, Porter Ridge Independence, Myers Park Butler, the big game this week. Hickory Ridge at Rocky River, and Sun Valley is at Charlotte Catholic. So
I'm not going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to be that guy. That Myers Park Butler game, it don't be one of two ways. It don't be really close or it don't be really ugly. And I'm leaning towards Butler. And I love Mark Harmon. He's my guy. But Butler, you got some of my guys. You got McDougal. You got Jake Snap. Everybody know how I feel about Jake Snap. And then they got that freak in the back for that running back. I don't know. I'm going with Butler. That's just me. Y'all can go ahead. I can predict these games because they're not IMAX, so I don't got to worry about them seeing me. But that's just me. I don't care. Berry Olympic. I don't know, man. The O is on it. The big O is on it. When Olympic is doing good, the whole South Side really, really back and moving.
Yeah.
East Mac at Garinger, I'm not because, my ex-wife is a Garinger alum and my guy is East Mac AD, so I'm staying out of that. Porter Ridge versus Indy. I'm going with Indy because, my boy DG6 is over there. Gibson got to go ahead and ball out. Hickory Ridge at Rocky River. That's an interesting game, but Hickory Ridge probably don't get that. And Catholic at Sun Valley. Yeah, man, Catholic.
Yeah, absolutely. Otis, what you got there?
I'm gonna go bottom and work my way up to the top. I'm going Charlotte Catholic over Sun Valley. Hickory Ridge over Rocky River. I'm staying with who I said. I'm going with Butler over Miles Park. Porter Ridge over Indy. And Guaranteed to get their first win of the season.
Oh,
over East
man.
Meck.
All right.
I'm calling it now, and we're going to keep the tradition going.
No, hey, you gotta be a politician right now, Olympic grad.
I don't have to be a politician. I'm gonna tell the head coach, and I'm gonna text him after I say this. Hey, let's put 49 on him, coach, and call it a day.
Y'all something else.
You can't put no Olympic grad.
It's a donut party, baby. Let's keep it going.
Hey, you can't put no Olympic grad on him.
I didn't believe in my own school. So let's go. Oh,
hey, Pep.
Donut party.
Y'all thought I was bad. You can't put no Olympic grad on him because they don't know. They don't know no better.
I'm learning. I'm learning very quickly.
They don't know no better because they haven't won nothing in a long time, and now they ain't winning. They acting look. He ready to chirp. He ready to chirp now.
All right, Brandon, Sheree, Queen, what you guys got here?
Well, I think I definitely look for Olympic to keep rolling. They're certainly one of the more talented teams in the city. They've already proven that. But Myers Park and Butler, I think that's definitely. I feel like it's hard for me to do this, but I feel like we got a 1A and 1B of games of the week. It's hard for me to put one game over the other. Myers Park and Butler, both big games, huge games. So that's definitely one of the big games of the young season so far. And we know Charlotte Catholic is going to be after last week. They're definitely going to be motivated. So see how they do that.
Queen's going to be at East Meck and Garinger. So, you got any other thoughts on these games here?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go. I'm probably gonna go Olympic over Berry.
Now predictions are coming up. Now we ain't got predictions. If you just got any general thoughts.
Oh yeah, no. Well, okay. So the only thought I really have about this is, like I said, being at the East Meck Garinger game, I grew up on that side of town, so I'm a ride with Garinger, hoping that they get this first victory.
There you go.
All right, and then my good friend Nikisha Ricks is a Garinger grad, and she's very excited that some of us are picking Garinger in that game. So.
There you go.
Good deal. And I got to throw up this comment from our buddy Joe Hughes. Their haircut brought bold-faced Billups back.
I never die, man.
All right. Predictions. Producer and Queen, I'll keep you, Otis, and, Billups, I'll keep you.
Take me away.
Oh, okay.
Nah, Billups, stay. Don't run from it. Run from the smoke. Don't run from the smoke.
We do as requested. All right, Myers Park, Butler. Otis, what you got?
I got Butler.
Butler? Brandon?
I'm going Butler also on this one.
All right, Queen?
Butler.
Last week I didn't do a clean sweep, and, it proved that I just got totally ridiculed by some J.M. Robinson people because I didn't pick them. And I need to talk about. I'm actually going to talk about that in the slime, but I will pick Butler as well. I think Myers Park's well coached and got a good talent, but we talk about shock to the system. Myers Park playing, two teams in Garinger and Rocky River. Big step up this week playing Butler. Butler played, Porter Ridge last week, and to your point, Sheree, Porter Ridge didn't quit. They're a well-coached team. I just think there's a bit of a gap from, where Myers Park has faced so far to where they're going now. All right. Thomas Jefferson at Mountain Island. Otis, what you got?
I'm going with the Mountain Island chart.
All right, Brandon.
Mountain Island.
Queen.
Mountain Island.
Another clean sweep. What are we doing here on Football Focus Weekly? Thomas Jefferson has Dakota Twitty, the big 4-star receiver that's got a ton of offers. They did defeat East Rowan last week 21-6. That school only has 300 people, so for them to have the great talent they have on that football team speaks well to that coaching staff and what they've got over there. But Mountain Island is my pick here. Robert Washington has a really talented team led by North Carolina recruit Gabe Stevens. and some other guys like Trey Nicholson, number 3 in the backfield that can do some special things. Joe Hughes, y'all sure about that? Oh, hell. Joe is the Gaston County guru, so he might have some inside information on that Thomas Jefferson Mountain Island game that we may not have. So, anyways, Concord West Cabarrus. Otis, what you got?
I'm going Concord.
Concord, all right. Brandon.
It's tough, but I'm gonna go Concord as well. They were really close in the first game, so I'm going Concord also.
Okay. All right, Queen.
See, and this is one of the games that I actually kind of did a toss up on because I haven't really watched either of these teams, and my gut told me to go with Concord. So, and it's funny that them two picked Concord as well, but I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go Concord.
Wow.
Yeah,
Kenny, no one's paying attention to your segment, man. What in the world? All right, hold on. Kenny, I'm going to bring you on here. Hold on. Kenny, what do you think about this, man? They got 3 people taking Concord.
West Cabarrus is the brand new kid on the block, man. But I've seen both of those schools on film, and I've seen West in person. I just think they're super athletic on defense. They're very big, even though they don't have a senior class. And I think the Concord's going to struggle to put points up against them. One thing that is going to be West's savior this year is their defense is pretty stinking good. So, like I said, I see West in this. I see West potentially another 16-0 kind of game. I see him shutting Concord out.
All right. Thanks, Kenny, for that information right there. And that means I'm going to pick West Cabarrus.
Had to phone a friend.
Right.
On a friend.
I was going to pick him anyway, but I'm just saying. Yes, I did not. Anyway. All right. Last prediction game, Huff at Lake Norman. Otis, what you got?
I'm going with Huff.
All right. Brandon?
Ooh, just tough. I'll text it. I'll text it to you. I don't want to say it on camera.
That is not how Football Focus Weekly works. Come on, man.
Brandon, you got to pick one now.
Nah, it's tough, man. Two great teams. They've both been, but I'm gonna the slight edge. I'm gonna go Lake Norman.
Lake Norman. All right, Queen.
Lake Norman.
All right, Lake Norman. Well, you're right, Brandon. It is tough. When I looked at this preseason, I had Huff 3rd in the IMEC. I had Lake Norman 4th in the IMEC. 2 teams that are well coached, 2 different styles. But I am going to take Huff here only because I feel like, that offense with Tad Hudson at the quarterback spot, they have a chance of having, some really big explosive plays, trying to throw the football against Lake Norman. I think that's going to be a slight difference. I think it's going to be an awesome game once again. All right. Good job, guys. I'll put you guys in the background because I want to address something right here real quick. Once again, I have sent the link to this show for when we come on the show in our online studio. Justin Adams is saying he's another week left off again. Now, we're going to turn this into a segment if this keeps happening. So I'm going to step off camera. I'm going to put everybody on camera. I'm going to get him set up because we got the Players of Game segment coming up. So I'm going to give you guys, and I've never done this before on Football Focus Weekly. You guys talk amongst yourselves real quick. I'll be right back.
What in the world?
I don't know what he expected us to do here.
What am I supposed to? He's gonna teach you just left the classroom, huh?
Man, I'm mad he brought me on here. I'm trying to kill this church's chicken.
Churches, see? Yeah, I'm talking about churches.
You got those honey butter biscuits, don't
You are
you?
proof.
Yeah, that's right there.
But
Immediately. Yep, free time. Let me see. Let me think of something controversial I can say. Something obscene.
I ain't saying nothing.
Mm.
Let me think. What can I say to ruffle some feathers?
Y'all know the text Coach Billups just sent me last night about the game this week?
Oh Lord, I ain't see you no text. You don't stop it. Stop it. I ain't see you no text.
I know he did. I believe
I'm at peace.
Nah, I believe he did. We'll bring it up later. You know how things resurface like 4 years later.
I'm at peace right now.
That's because of that biscuit. It's got nothing to do with football.
No, this W Wednesday right here. Get W biscuit.
So you fed you guys church's chicken today?
No, I fed my stomach.
No, you
church's
just
chicken.
said it. You said W Wednesday. You win, you get chicken.
I get chicken.
No, you said we get chicken. We win, we get chicken.
The wing is my mouth and my stomach.
Come on, man. You can get the whole team. To get the whole team some church's chicken would cost $28.
I probably get for $12. Tell you the truth, B.
Y'all gonna quit talking about church's prices. Y'all know y'all let that chicken. You tearing that chicken up right now.
I mean, it's good. I haven't been in a while.
I'm tearing the biscuit up right now.
Well, where's the chicken? Because you've been smacking for the last at least 20 minutes.
It is good
So,
stuff.
Bill,
I ain't been in a
Coach
while.
Brandon, the Queen, have y'all watched any of the college football this spring?
Nah, man. Well, I'm not coaching.
I ain't caught too much.
When I'm not coaching, I'm watching Snowfall. Watch Snowfall. I am Franklin Saint.
But I do watch Snowfall. But I've heard about a few games college spring football. I know some of a lot of HBCUs are playing right now, but I've caught a few scores, but I hadn't watched none yet.
Jackson State 2-0.
Yeah, Jackson State is rolling.
Jackson State 2-0. I'm a Deion Sanders fan. I love Deion Sanders since I understood what football was all about. I just like what he's doing down there, changing the culture. He's doing a whole lot of great things down there at Jackson State.
P, you got the sweatband around your neck right now.
Hey,
oh Lord,
you do.
Yeah, that's big, man. He's gonna turn that around. He's gonna.
He's
gonna get some 4s and 5s down there, which most HBCUs don't do that. I feel like he's gonna be able to do it. His brand is gonna bring in some 4 and 5.
oh yeah.
He's gonna be on ESPN 2 this weekend against Mississippi Valley.
The teachers walk back in the classroom.
All right, so I heard talk about church's chicken.
Yeah. I was about to say, you see that box? You see that box? Y'all be hating on church's chicken. Y'all some haters.
I hate on chicken.
Church's chicken, Snowfall, and college football. So that was an interesting 5-minute free
I'm
time
black.
segment. So.
Now I had me a watermelon smoothie.
Fried chicken and watermelon smoothie.
All right, thank you, Bill. I had to cut him off for old time's sake. Had to cut him off. All right. Anyway, here we go. We're gonna go with the players of the game. Let me get that on the screen here. All right. First of all, Joe Hughes does a great job with highlighting a bunch of players of the game right here. Gaston County. To Darren Griffin from Shelby, 16 tackles, 4.5 sacks, and a fumble recovery in their win, 38-22 over RS Central. We just talked about Mountain Island Charter. Dylan Bisson, 10 of 14 passes completed for 341 yards, 5 touchdowns, and a big win over Christ the King, 58-0. And then I mentioned TJ Ruff earlier for Crest, rushed for 218 yards on 16 attempts and 3 touchdowns with a 69-yard run in the first quarter, 55-24 win for Crest over Stuart Kramer. Great job to all those guys right there. Joe does an awesome column where he highlights a bunch of kids for his players of the game with the Gadsden Gazette. A few more he mentioned the quarterback we were talking about, Stuart Kramer earlier, Justin Rockmore, 28 of 42 passing, 302 yards and a touchdown, 50 yards rushing and another score. What a big game. They did lose 55-24, but that game was close in the first half. I believe Crest was up 28-21 at halftime, so a bit of a shootout right there. Tyler Mizell for East Lincoln, 13 of 17 passing, 194 yards, 4 touchdowns, each to different targets. Big win for East Lincoln, 41-0 over Lincolnton. They're going to 2-0. They beat Mountain Island Charter week 1 by 28-27. And then Jaden Lockhart from Mountain Island Charter, really, really great receiver, won our Under the Lights wide receiver MVP at the second camp we had. Caught 4 passes for 153 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also in the 58-0 win for Mountain Island over Christ the King. All right, so Justin should be coming on here. He's got a player of the game he wants to highlight from Weddington. All right, so I got a few players from the game we were at, Olympic and South Meck. Quarterback Sean Bowles, 4 total touchdowns, 2 rushing, 2 passing. His first rushing touchdown was a quarterback sneak set up by a punt block. And his second touchdown was a nice misdirection run over the right side, kind of a quarterback sweep. And then his 2 touchdown passes came in the second half, one to KJ Hicklin, number 6. And then the other one to number 21, Cameron Smith, out of the backfield on the beautiful wheel route. Defensive end Kai Russell, we talked to him after the game. He had multiple sacks and tackles for loss. I believe he ended up with 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss in that game. And defensive back Abdul Muhammad, he was the one that blocked the punt in the first half, set up the Olympic first touchdown. He had 3 pass breakups and also 3 tackles. So great job, to all those guys right there. All right. All right, man. Now look, I sent you the link. Okay. I sent the link. I did my job as the owner of this show. What happened?
When did you send the link, Matt?
I sent it yesterday.
No.
I will screenshot it and put it on the screen.
No, please do.
You don't want that. Anyways, your player of the game. Now, your player of the game every week now is going to be sponsored by Impact Speed Training. All right, so talk to us about Impact Speed Training and what that is.
See, Cherie didn't get it either. See, I knew I wasn't the only one.
All right, go ahead, sir.
But Impact Speed Training, yeah, man. So, as you know, we do the Impact Player of the game each week, and I've started my own Impact Speed Training with it consists of speed and agility. My goal is to get you guys to the point where you guys are physically able to get to the next level, whether it's speed, whether it's agility, whether it's whatever it is. With the game, I want to elevate your game. So that's what we offer here at Impact Speed Training. Yeah, man, be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. That's all I can say. Be on the lookout.
Absolutely. Now, where can they, follow you? What you're doing with that?
I'm on IG, Impact Speed Training.
Okay.
Like I said,
All
the content is coming soon. So just be on the lookout. You want to elevate your game. You want to get faster with all sports, any sport. Just, tap in. We're going to do that.
All right. Yeah. Good deal, man. So talk to us a bit about Makia Evans right here for Weddington.
Oh, yeah. So Makia Evans is a transfer from Parkwood out of Monroe. Sealed the game last week against Charlotte Catholic, which was the game of the week for Weddington. Like I said, it was a defensive game. It was a defensive battle the whole game. Not a lot of scoring on the offensive side. I don't think they didn't even score at all in the second half. So everything, all the points were put on in the first half. Yeah, it was like a minute left, and Charlotte Catholic bombed it, and Makai Evans went up at the high point and caught the interception. And hey, he won the game for his team, so he deserved an Impact Player of the game. Shout out to Weddington. Shout out to Rodney too, Garnhard. I know he was coaching up the DBs the whole time, and he made sure they was in position. 2 corners were shut down as well. They didn't see a lot of action, but I knew that they were on the scouting report, and the coaches didn't really want to try them. So, hey,
Well, good deal, man. That's a good job, and great job to Makai and great job to Weddington. Going in a tough place to win and getting a big win, for that program. So good stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. And I do want to add real quick. Hold on, I got a comment from Joe Hughes.
What's up, Joe?
I sent another today. So Joe Hughes got it. Why didn't y'all get it? Come on, man. Come on now. We gotta be better than that. But thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. But seriously, all jokes aside, thank you, Justin. That's a good job, man. And Impact Speed Training, I want to come out and see you guys in action.
Tap in.
Check out what you got going on. So
I'll get you faster too. If you want to come, join one of the sessions, I got you.
I appreciate that offer, and I will strongly consider that. Thank you so much.
For sure.
All right. Let's get back on track here. All right, I got a couple more. Linebacker Trenton Santiago. I'm gonna tell you something, man. This guy's only a sophomore. He had a quarterback sack. He had multiple tackles, pass breakup, very active. He's really impressive. He was at East Meck last year. He had started on JV, then they moved him to varsity midseason. He's got a bright future ahead of him. That's going to be a name that you're going to hear about a lot, coming up in the future. For Vance, I could have named so many. Great win, this week over Hopewell. DB Nate Spindle, we talked to him after the game. He had excellent coverage. We interviewed him after the game, like I just said. Really intelligent young man. He's committed to North Carolina A&T. Tyrion Porter, an incredible special teams play. I mean, this is the play we mentioned earlier in the show where he stripped the Hopewell returner, ran it back for a touchdown. Crazy talent right there. And then defensive end James Pierce. I mean, lightning fast off the edge. He had multiple sacks. Where's number 10? He also plays some offense as well at the receiver position. Just an incredible athlete, man. Super talented young man who's going to end up, I'm sure getting some big time offers here, in the next little bit. So great job for those Vance guys. And they had other guys that played really well too. Kevin Concepcion at receiver, Austin Grit quarterback, and also the Vance offensive line. I wanted to name all those guys from Coach Sneed. He sent this in: Jonathan Cannon, Justin Blue, Alvin Davies, Tremaine L., and Javon Tate. The Vance offense had 27 rushes for 283 yards, 10.5 yards per carry, 5 rushing touchdowns, 16 pass attempts, no sacks or quarterback hits, and 20-plus pancakes. My Lord. If I was your offensive line coach, I'd be sending that in too, because that's super impressive right there. I mean, that means every time you're running the ball, it's a first down. I mean, that's just an incredible, amount of yardage right there. And it, obviously scoring 72 points is pretty dang on impressive. So that's a great job for that Vance offensive line, getting the job done for sure. All right, for the Lake Norman Wildcats, quarterback Anthony Lamone had poised leadership, big plays down the stretch in their comeback victory. The Lake Norman offensive line, obviously we talked about those guys. We talked about them on Friday Night Live last week. And then Krishan Shepard was watching the show earlier. Had an impressive kickoff return for touchdown. We retweeted. And he had some big catches to keep drives alive when Lake Norman was coming back in the fourth quarter of that game down 24-15. So great job for those guys. Big win to go to 2-0. And like we said earlier, we're going to be at that game this week against Huff, me and Brandon. All right, here we go. Providence Panthers. This was sent in by Coach Wesley Ward. Providence, Holland Starnes quarterback, 18-25 for 167 yards. Jamar Price at the running back position, 21 carries for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns, and also had 6 catches for 50 yards. Luke Bailey at the receiver position, talked about him earlier as well, 4 catches for 50 yards and 2 touchdowns. I'm going to take that banner off so you can see that. Barry, 21 carries for negative 16 yards, averaged 1.8 yards per play. And the Providence defense has only been scored on one time all season long. So, the Providence Panthers going to 2-0, man, looking real impressive. And they got some guys that are doing some big things over there. So thank you to Coach Ward for sending that stuff in. And we're going to see those guys here, real soon for sure. All right, here we go. Huff Huskies had a couple guys played well. Freshman kicker Nolan Hauser had 4 for 4 extra points, 3 for 4 field goals in the win over Morrisville. And then Dylan Brady had multiple tackles. The estimate was about 12 plus tackles he had on defense, and he was all over the field in their big win for those guys. So great job for, those guys up at Huff. We're going to see them, like I said, once again this week when they play Morrisville. All right. I'm going to bring on Cherie because she's got one that she wants to share as a player of the game. We don't have the slide on it, but I'm going to let her talk about this young man. So what you got, Cherie?
Yeah, sorry I didn't get mine sent in. Obviously Butler had a big game, last week. But just shout out to Donovan Woods. He was a cornerback, had the only interception of the entire game. And I think that was the point in the game at which, Porter Ridge had a chance to come back and possibly, score on them. And that interception, I think, just kind of changed the momentum for the rest of the game. So just shout out to him for that.
Yeah, Donovan Woods is a guy we featured on the CFI Player Focus series we had for unsigned seniors. And he did end up signing with the school after that. So he's a great young man to talk to. He's very talented. And it's great to see that he's making game-changing plays, to affect the game. So thanks, Queen, for sharing that. And we'll see you here shortly when we get to the slime. All right. So we got some more players of the game we're going to share here. We're going to get that back on the screen. All right, West Mac Hawks. Now, they did lose to North Lincoln, but JT McDonald had a real good game. He had 6 tackles. He blocked a field goal and had a fumble recovery against North Lincoln. He's committed to Johnson C. Smith. Coach McCray came on a couple weeks ago and said some really glowing things about him. So it's good to see that he's, having a big impact on the game for West Mac. All right, J.M. Robinson, Coach D-Rob, Kenny McClamrock's boy. That's a guy on here. Josh Grant Jr., he's a guy that we interviewed in the offseason, making big plays. He had 166 total yards and a touchdown catch in their big win over Northwest Cabarrus. So good job to Josh. He's a, kind of game-changing guy out of the slot, that can make some big plays, on the football field. So good job for him, on that. And Kenny with a couple comments. He didn't realize how fast he was. And I'll tell you, Kenny, when I saw his highlight film when we interviewed him in the offseason, man, he was just all over the place. I couldn't believe that. I'd never heard of him. I mean, he's really a special player, for that J.M. Robinson team. All right, a couple of Independence Patriots. Bryson Tisdale at receiver had 115 yards receiving in the victory over East Mac. He had a couple big catches down the field. Coach Van Horn dialing up some nice plays to get him free. And then Josh Isaiah, we interviewed him, released that yesterday. He was a great young man to talk to. Class of 2023, 6'2", 220. Defensive end, he had 10 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, and a pass deflection. He also played tight end on offense, and then he's playing the wedge buster on special teams. So it's a busy young man, a real nice young man to talk to. I think he's got a bright future on the football field. And, check out that interview. It's on Facebook. It's on our Twitter. It's on Instagram. Getting a lot of, nice, run as it should, because he's a very deserving young man, for the Independence Patriots, who are now 1-1 on the season. Big game this week against Porter Ridge. Good job to those guys. Concord. Caden Pursuti had an interception and a 55-yard touchdown run in their victory over Central Academy. They've got West Cabarrus this week, and we, predicted that game earlier. So if Concord is going to win, like, 3 of you predict, he's going to be a big reason why. A very talented young man did a good job in, making an impact on that game against Central Academy. Good job for you. West Charlotte Lions, Coach Billups. I had to put a couple of your guys on here. Demaji DeBose, he's real disruptive on the D-line, had 2 sacks and a pancake block on offense in the victory over North Mac. And then Daniel DJ Davis had a touchdown, 2 2-point conversions, a couple of important first downs, and an important kickoff return in the victory over North. You got anything you want to say about those guys?
Oh, man. DeBose is that guy. DJ, I think he's getting out a chance, Morrow's shadow a little bit. Mm-hmm. He's stepping up. I think everybody, when they think about West Charlotte, they think about Chance, DeBose, Angelo. And, I think a lot of people forget we got Josh back, the quarterback. And we got a lot of, you got to think about Sindel Slade. He played a great game. Sanchez, we got a lot of pieces, but like I said, I'm humble. I'm just a proud Lion, but we just work it, But DJ and the Bulls, they deserve that. Deserve the recognition because they did. With DJ coming out game, he had a real bad game against Lake Norman. And I was glad he came out and he showed people, hey, you gotta respect him. You can sit there and worry about chance all you want to, but you gotta put a little respect on DJ's name. And so that's why I like the cards we got. So I ain't gonna make no predictions. I'm just gonna come ready to coach on Friday, and then next Wednesday I'll be here.
Good deal. Good deal. Thank you, Coach. All right. Myers Park Mustangs had a shout out. Well, not a shout out. He's a player of the game. Jordan Potrose Tenzi. Once again, 6 tackles, had a sack, forced fumble, and a fumble recovery in the victory over Rocky River to put Myers Park at 2-0, off to a good start under Coach Harmon, doing a great job, with that program. They hadn't missed a beat yet. Hickory Ridge Raging Bulls, Saban McLaughlin. We talked to him in the offseason. He's a talented young man. Kind of an athlete, can play in the backfield and play in the slot receiver. He had 2 touchdowns in their victory over Garinger, 46-0. Talked with Coach Jupiter Wilson over the weekend. He came up to the Vance Hopewell game. Hickory Ridge doing really well. And, we're going to see where they, end up in the Southwestern 4A. It's going to be a big 3-team race between them, Butler, and Myers Park. So real interesting to see how that's going to turn out. All right, Monroe Redhawks, Ricardo Brown. I had multiple people tagging me on Instagram about his game. 105 yards rushing, 8 tackles on defense, 2 touchdowns, a blocked punt, and interception in their victory over Marvin Ridge. That's a good win for Monroe. And that young man, what a game. Good gracious. On both sides of the football, it looks like he's playing in all 3 phases. I don't think he ever come off the field. That's some old school football right there, man. So great job, Ricardo. And keep that up, man. That's great job with Coach Soul and those guys down in Union County. All right, Butler Bulldogs. I got a couple for you, Cherie. Davion Nelson. I know you've been, singing his praises, and I am too. 25 carries, 184 yards, and 4 rushing touchdowns in the victory over Porter Ridge. And then Big D tackle Sir Robinson was watching the show earlier. 6 tackles and a sack. Good job for those guys this week. Mountain Pleasant, 2-0 so far. And the big reason why, Dalton Miller. This was sent in by their athletic department. 23 carries, 151 yards, and 3 touchdowns in their 28-21 win over Carson. So Mount Pleasant looking to go 3-0 this week. They got, Central Academy, and, according to Kenny, they're going to look good and, trying to get that done this week. All right, Ashbrook, I mentioned him earlier, the big win over Forest View. Jadon Soul, real good kid right here. 2 interceptions, 5 tackles, 1 tackle for loss in the win. Great job for them for going to 1-1 on the season. Cuthbertson from Coach Kavanaugh, our buddy Trey Kavanaugh down there in Union County. He's got them at 2-0, off to a great start. AJ Colombo, 7 catches for 85 yards and a kickoff return for a touchdown in their victory over Piedmont. The score was 31-10. So that's going to be a team to watch down there as well. We talk about Weddington, we talk about Charlotte Catholic in that conference, but Cuthbertson, they're on the come up, and Coach Kavanaugh doing a great job now in his 2nd season after coming over from RG Kell as the offensive coordinator. So good job. All right. That's the end of players of the game right there. So you know what that means. Is he ready? It's that time. Kenny McClamrock's famous show.
All right, guys, y'all know what time it is. It's the time where we look at what's going on in the sports world for the past week, the state for the past week, our nation for the past week, and we think about if we could go back in time to our favorite Nickelodeon show, who in the world would we slime? And you know what, Coach Billups, we're just going to come to you, man, looking so fresh and so clean. Who you sliming this week, Coach Billups?
I'm sliming Petman and Joe Hughes. Because Tuesday I was irritated because my barber went MIA. So then they had all the jokes in the world, not knowing that I was being very, very serious. So Pep and Joe Hughes, you're terrible friends, but I still love you guys. Punks.
All right. Well, we're going to go with the young buck. We're going to tap in with Impact Speed Training. Justin, who you sliming this week?
I'm gonna jump on board with Coach Billers, and I'm gonna slime Pep for sure. Definitely gonna slime him because this is the second week in a row. He left me out the link, and he swore he sent it to me, but he didn't because I looked at my email just now when I was backstage and I didn't see it. So he clearly didn't send it there. So I'm gonna slime him, but I'm also going to slime the Dak Prescott haters. A lot of people hating on Dak Prescott because he just signed that, and I think he deserved it. I think he deserves the money. So everybody that's hating on Dak, just let the man live. You know what I'm saying? You got to check. Let him have the check. Let him have the money. He deserves it. But that's it. Appreciate it, Kenny.
Man, Pep, you know what? I'm going to stick up for you, man, as somebody whose DMs were filled Friday night by Kannapolis student athletes. Pep, I ain't going to hate on you, man. I ain't going to let anybody else slime on you. Cherie, the queen. Who you sliming this week?
Okay, so I'm actually, I don't know if you've ever worked in a restaurant, you know, especially if you consider yourself to be pretty decent at your job, you know, you're gonna get offended if someone comes in and automatically blames you. So the people that I'm sliming this week are the people like the guy that came into my restaurant yesterday and decided that he was going to blame his faulty order on me. And my thing is, you know, I've been at that job for 5 years for a reason. Asians don't just hire any old black girl off the street. So I'm pretty confident in my job. So I'm sliming the folks like that dude right there.
Slime him. Producer Brandon. Man, we've had a lot going on this past week. Who you sliming tonight?
I've slimed so many people over the weeks. I'm starting to lose track of who I've slimed and who I haven't. But if I've slimed these people already, it's okay because they just deserve more slime, and that's fine. But I'm gonna just slime the people who like to just yell and belittle coaches from the stands and yell out all kinds of instructions and crap and do this, do that. And my thing is, if you want to yell at kids on Friday nights and yell at football players to do things, be a coach. We're always looking. There's always a coach opening somewhere. Someone always need to use a coach. So sign up. If you want to yell out plays and give instructions on Friday, coach. A lot easier.
I don't know, Producer Brandon. You know, it's a whole lot easier to be up in the stands and to holler out, "Hey, coach, you got to block somebody. Hey, coach, tackle. Hey, coach, stop throwing the ball. Hey, coach, put my boy in. He's good." It's way easier to do that than it is to actually get your hands dirty and to get your feet sweaty and to paint some fields and wash some laundry and actually do something that you know what you're doing. But Pep, I'll get off on a tangent if I keep going. Pep, who we sliming this week?
You know, I stepped away for a minute, and apparently Bill slimed me. I didn't hear what he said, but apparently he slimed me. Justin slimed me. You know, I feel a little disrespected, you know, because I sit here and I put all this stuff together. I give you guys this platform to come out here and do a great job because y'all do a great job. But then you're going to turn around and slime me for something that I did. After the show, I will put up a screenshot of where I sent this dang on link. Now I'm upset because everyone's here and they got it. So if you can't follow simple directions, then that's your problem, not mine. No, Billups, I'm not bringing you on. I'm not bringing you on. You had your slime time. This is my time. This is my time. Dang on it. All right. Hey, I wish y'all could see backstage right now. Anyway, all right. I'm going to slime myself this week. I said last week that J.M. Robinson was going to lose the Northwestern Bears. I was the only one that picked Northwest Cabarrus. J.M. Robinson won that game 45-7. My buddy Phil Johnson, I hope he's still watching. He kept texting me updates. 7-0, 21-0, 37-0. Bad pick on my part. I told, you guys, I would eat crow, but I didn't have time to get crow. I didn't have time to get crow that I wanted. So in, lieu of finding crow, I'm just going to slime my, Phil Johnson's watching. I hope y'all see this at J.M. Robinson. I'm sliming myself. Clear slime. I'm wrong, and I own it. Thank you, Kenny.
I'm gonna join you.
You all right?
Hey, man,
okay? It's true. It's so cold. It's so cold.
You're making me feel bad. I mean, I'm sitting here and real talking. I was just thinking about impact speed trading on Instagram, and I was like, man, I need to look up Justin Adams. So I Googled Justin Adams, Wingate football, and Pep, the hair that I saw from young Justin at the Bulldog uniform, the locks that came down to like his nipples, man. It was looking good. And I was like, man, you know what? Impact speed training's done changed my whole perspective. I'm going to change what I was thinking. I said I would never, ever slime Pep. But then I started thinking, you know what? Justin, you know what, Coach Billings? I'm going to slime Pep Man as well, because I'm going to tell you why.
What the hell?
For 35 years, for 35 years, there was one thing that I did not want to be called. Like, I fought people who called me this. People who called me Kenny. I haven't had an uncle. His name was Kenny. He was awesome, but he was my uncle. And then somewhere a couple months ago, Pep Man started calling me Kenny. And now I get text messages from people who watch the show, and they're like, hey, Kenny, how's it going? Kenny, what you doing? Kenny, how's life treating you? Kenny, my name is Kenneth McClamrock, Kenneth. So, Pep Man, I'm slamming you for starting this awful text exchange garbage that I have going on right now. Pep might have disappeared.
Hey, you gotta do Otis, man. Otis ain't good.
Oh, shoot. Oh, Coach P. God, I forgot about my man, Coach Powell. Prime time. Who you sliming this week, man?
I'm gonna slime the news outlets. I miss Friday Night Football on Channel 3. As a player, it was something that I rushed home to get to watch. And as a high school coach, getting back here from playing at Western Carolina, it was something that I enjoyed watching with my son. It was something I enjoyed watching him participate in and be a part of. And I just missed that outlet and seeing all the other teams' highlights on Friday night. Whether we getting up, going somewhere, going to a restaurant, and turning it on and throwing back some wings. I miss watching Friday Night Football or Friday Night Frenzy. I miss those two outlets for these high school kids. I wish they had the experience that I did. So I slimed them.
It's good stuff. I think we got everybody now, right, Pep? We good?
Yeah, we're good. So I'm gonna bring everybody. Well, first of all, before I bring everybody on, Friday Night Live, I can't give you a time because we go to different games every week. So, but Friday night, I'll go live. We'll do Friday Night Live. We'll do a live show probably before about 45 minutes to an hour. I'm just talking about the scores and, get you guys' reactions. So players, fans, coaches, I'll post the link out on Twitter, Facebook. You guys just click that link. It'll bring you into an online studio. We can have a talk, promote your programs. Players, you can talk about what you did. Fans, you can talk about your observations of every game. So it'll be every Friday night. Coach Powell just talked about the lack of football Friday night shows. You know, TV stations making tough decisions budget wise. We ain't got a budget. This thing costs $25 a month. So Friday Night Live, come on. We may not have all the video of the games, obviously, but we can talk about it. And you know, it's a good time. It was a good time last week. A lot of guys came on and watched. We talked about some games. Fans had some great questions. So make sure you check that out, you know, every Friday night now through the regular season. We'll see what happens when we get to the playoffs. Now, business is out of the way. I'm bringing all you guys on because I had 3 of you slime me, and I don't appreciate it. I sat here and slimed myself for J.M. Robinson, and then 3 of y'all going to turn around and slime me for something that I clearly did. So, first of all, good night, everybody, because we're going to have a show meeting. And you don't slime Pet Man, get away with it. Y'all ain't going to watch this, but it's going to be pretty comical because I got a good old school yelling post-game coach yelling session coming up right now for the 1980s watching.
No, he doesn't.
This is Football Focus Weekly, believe it or not. Thank y'all for watching this week. See y'all on Friday nights when we're. Oh, by the way, where we're going, me and Brandon Huff at Lake Norman. Justin is going to Myers Park Butler. Cherie's going to.
I'm always gonna be at West Charlotte.
Well, you let me finish.
My bad, Eddie Kane.
I'm dang on. Cherie's.
My bad, Eddie Kane Jr.
Cherie's going to be at East Neck Garinger. Otis will be at his game at Highland Tech. Of course, Billups will be at his game with West Charlotte and Mallard Creek. So if you see us, say hello. We're very nice people.
Don't say hello to me. I'm being coaching mode. Don't say hello to me.
After the game, say hello to Billups. All right.
No, unless you got a cigar. If you got a cigar, we can talk.
Good night, everybody.
I'm just being honest.
Oh, we got a late comment. Eraserhead Billups. There you go.
Shut up, Jagged Joe.
We gotta get Joe back on the show.
Jagged Joe.
He's doing
no, you work on his 2-step. Temptation Joe. Tippy Tap Joe. Always got something to say. Don't come on here with that barbershop sweater set and hoodie set no more. How about that?
Good night, guys.